are getting ready to come up to our next stop. Thought maybe we'd do a little filming. It's Paducah, Kentucky, and Four Rivers Harley Davidson.
Exit right, then turn right.
Stopping here, gotta pick up 2 bikes. Four Rivers Harley Davidson in Paducah, Kentucky. Just thought we'd check in, we're here picking up a couple of bikes. Just wanted to chat with them a little bit, see a little bit about the dealership. You know, how long you've been around, any cool bikes, any cool stories?
Well,
anything?
the way I understand it, we've been here since 2005. We were actually a sister company of ED Cycles, is the main name, doing business at Four Rivers. Our other company is Tifton Harley Davidson down in Tifton, Georgia. 2 owners are at that store. Our general manager here is Trent Willett. General manager is Nate Miller. We have all kinds of stories. We're an event dealership. We work on strictly nothing but Harleys. We do a lot of new and a lot of pre-loved sales. We have an excellent motor clothes department. Kind of proud of this dealership. We have a pavilion in back. We do our events back there. We usually put on during this
nice balcony.
Nice balcony. It's set up as a riverboat motif this close to the river here. So we got the big shipping wheel and we got the big horn. You can see the big horn up there. But it's a beautiful dealership on the inside.
You guys have a restaurant or anything here?
No, just right down the road. It's not ours, but there's a catfish right down the road. We have a pretty good signature here at exit 11, Husbands Road. We're online, we're websites out there. I'm actually marketing. I started off as being the company driver, believe it or not. And I retired, then they gave me a chance of marketing. It's going real well, but we love our dealership here. It's really family oriented. When one of us has a problem, we all have a problem. We all solve it together. It's just a real nice place to work with. These people are easy to deal with. I actually knew these people before I started working here and bought several bikes from them, so it's feasible to get a bike here.
All right, well, that's cool. All right, well, we appreciate
you stopping by.
Come on down and check them out here.
Yeah, come on down. Four Rivers Harley, Paducah, Kentucky. Thank y'all.
Hey, well, here we are. After get done talking to Doug, and we got these 2 bikes that we're loading up out of here and gonna throw them on the truck and get on to the next stop. This here is a 1909 Reading Standard. Reading Standards were produced from 1903 to 1923. They were often advertised as RS motorcycles. They were manufactured in a facility on River Street in Reading, Pennsylvania. In 1903, when they first appeared, these bikes were basically Indian clones with Thor engines. But they did put out more motorcycles than Harley Davidson or Indian, producing roughly 1,700 per year in their 20-year run. The Thor engine is a V-twin side valve 722cc 44 cubic inch and had 6 horsepower with a top speed of roughly 55 mile an hour. In 1906, Reading Standard started building their own one-cylinder engines. These were the first flathead motorcycle engines offered by an American manufacturer. The company slogan, "Built and tested in the mountains," was adapted when a Reading Standard motorcycle was the first motorized vehicle to climb Pikes Peak. In 1907, they began racing and won their first 1,000-mile endurance race. 1908, they came out with their first V-twin models, which were conventional F-head configurations, overhead intake valve and side exhaust valve. What was really weird was the valve positions. The front cylinder had the valves on the left side, while the rear cylinder had the valves on the right side. Alright, here we have a 1918 Indian bicycle with a Smith motor wheel. This Indians' history with bicycles actually began way back in 1889. That's when the Hendy Manufacturing Company, which eventually became the Indian Motorcycle Company, was formed to build bicycles. Reuben Stanley Smith was the founder of Smith Precision Products Company. He filed 7 patents between the years of 1914 and 1917 for a device he called a motor wheel for bicycles. Production of the motor wheel started in the end of 1914 and ran to the middle of 1919 before manufacturing rights and patents were sold to the Briggs & Stratton Corporation. During that time, roughly 25,000 motor wheels were produced, and they were said to mount to just about any 20-inch wheel, would run up to 20 miles an hour, and would go 100 to 125 miles per gallon of fuel. Briggs & Stratton continued to manufacture the motor wheel under their name for a few more years. Today, both the Smith and Briggs & Stratton motor wheel are very rare and collectible items. Here we have a 1919 Harley Davidson Model J. It has an A in the serial number, so we know that it was shipped to Australia to support Allied troops in World War I. This particular bike has only 3 or 4 owners, and it was sold to a guy in Australia after World War I as surplus. This Model J has an F-head 45-degree V-twin 61 cubic inch 1000 cc 18 horsepower chain-driven single-loop steel frame and a 59.5-inch wheelbase. The Model J was produced from 1912 to 1929, and it was originally produced for military service around 1915. After World War I, Harley-Davidson converted their production to serve typical civilian customers. The Model J became Harley-Davidson's top-of-the-line model. As big engineering steps were made, driven somewhat by wartime technology, advancements with battery ignition becoming the norm and electric lights standard, along with a 3-speed transmission, the Model J came into being. It was offered in various 61 and 74 cubic inch versions and served riders well until the arrival of the flathead Model D around 1929. In its 15-year run, the Model J had proven itself on the streets, racetracks, and even served couriers in World War I.